and that the gathering together upon the land of Zion and upon her stakes may be for a defense, and for a refuge from the storm, and from wrath when it shall be poured out without mixture upon the whole earth. Let the city far west be a holy and consecrated land unto me, and it shall be called most holy, for the ground upon which thou standest is holy. Therefore I command you to build a house unto me, for the gathering together of my saints, that they may worship me. And let there be a beginning of this work, and a foundation, and a preparatory work this following summer. And let the beginning be made on the 4th day of July next, and from that time forth let my people labor diligently to build a house unto my name. I am the son of Levi Ward Hancock and Clarissa Reed Hancock. I shall not give our genealogy in this short history of mine at this time, for it is had in the holy temples so far as the work for our dead has been done. Suffice it to say, we are of the old Puritan stock that was in Boston as early as 1632, and my ancestors fought for the freedom of our country. All laid down their lives of my father's relatives in the War of the Revolution, except Thomas, my father's father, and he came out of the war honorably discharged when scarcely 14 years of age. If our posterity can manage to be as true to the work of God, I shall be most truly happy. I went and asked Father, who made the Father of our God? And Brother Joseph answered, Brother Levi, it is just as natural for God to have a father as it is for you and me to have one. It was the disposition of the prophet Joseph when he saw little children in the mud to take them up in his arms and wash the mud from their bare feet with his handkerchief. And how kind he was to the old folks as well as to little children. He always had a smile for his friends and was always cheerful. This season we went up to Far West to celebrate the 4th of July. Sidney Rigdon was the orator of the day. Just the day before the celebration, the prophet Joseph asked Father to compose a song. He worked on it much in the night and had it ready for the occasion. Uncle Solomon Hancock helped his father sing the song. Uncle Solomon Hancock helped Father sing this song on the southeast cornerstone of the Far West Temple. The stone was there, but was afterwards laid by the 12 apostles on April of the following year. They were friends of the mobbers who would infringe upon the rights of we lovers of freedom. We rejoiced in building good homes, sheds, and corrals, and in teaching the proper rudiments, that all should be just and propitious to each other, and in teaching the principles of the gospel to the children of men. We rejoiced in the prospects of a good education.
So this is the Song of Freedom. Come, lovers of freedom, together, and hear what we now have to say. For surely we ought to remember the cause that produced this great day. Oh, may we remember while singing the pains and distresses once borne by those who have fought for our freedom, and often for friends cause to mourn. The lives and the fortunes together, and honors all sacred and dear, were solemnly all pledged together by our honored forefathers here, including the great and the noble, who in our behalf were so brave. They offered their lives for our freedom when called for our country to save. The Parliament lords and the Commons, they together their soldiers prepare, and placed at their heads men to lead them. Then over the ocean did steer, to fight with their foes, oh no, never, to deal with their enemies enemies know. But for some through fancy defenses, across the Atlantic did go. 'Twas then that a pardon was offered to all who would willingly yield, excepting John Hancock and Adams. The fate of these men had been sealed. Thank God then for good Patrick Henry and other men who with him dared to come out with heart-rending speeches against what these warlords declared. The Tories were all crying treason against those who called for their right, and they would not listen to reason, but called on their forces to fight, to gain for the lords and the commons, who called for a tax without right. Then often from morning to morning contended for it with their might. God armed our forefathers with power, and Washington came to their aid. In wisdom he led the great battle, and soon came the Tories afraid. He raised up the standard of freedom and called for his brave volunteers, who all gathered quickly around him and from their bold enemies steered. Hark how the great battle rages, behold he undauntingly stands, the great cause for hereafter ages. He pleads with his sword in his hands. Behold, English lords then came bending, and from their high chairs soon fell down, and Tories and tyrants lay bleeding before this great man of renown. Great love then filled every bosom, and joy beamed upon every face, where lingered the true seed of freedom. All willingly gave God the praise. They told the sad tale to their children, and told them the same to hand down to their children's children forever, until the great trumpet should sound. To celebrate this day of freedom, don't let it ever be lost. Remember the wars of our fathers, and also the blood they have cost. Go, children, and tell the same story to your children's children unborn, how English lords, tyrants, and Tories have once caused your fathers to mourn. 'Twas honor that nerved up your fathers and caused them to go forth to fight, to gain us this great day of freedom, in which we can now take delight. Yes, daughters, you too have your freedom. You too have your country most dear. You love well your own independence. Your forefathers gained for you here. Exalt then the standard of freedom, and don't leave upon it a stain. Be firm and determined forever your freedom and rights to maintain. Remember the God of your fathers, ye sons and ye daughters, give ear. Then with you 'twill be well hereafter, and nothing you'll then have to fear. Farewell, ye o venerable fathers, who have stood for many a year. Ye like the aged trees have fallen, except just a few there and here. White locks plainly show they're soon going to earth's dust from whence we all came, to rest in the mansions of glory.